Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. The Gypsy King, 36, suffered his second consecutive defeat, falling short against Alexander Usyk, 37. Despite the tough night, Paris remained a pillar of strength, watching calmly from the crowd as the fight unfolded. Tyson's bid to reclaim the heavyweight title and become a three-time champion ended in disappointment, with a 116-112 decision from the judges. After quickly exiting the ring and skipping a post-fight interview, Paris was there by his side as they made their way back to the dressing room. Body language expert Judy James noted that Paris's composed demeanor sent a clear message: she was someone Tyson could rely on for support during one of the toughest moments of his career. Speaking of Paris' body language during the match, she says, "She made a significant sacrifice for this fight, having been estranged from her husband for 3 months, while he developed his new persona as a menacing warrior." Paris arrived ringside looking isolated, yet gleaming and elegant. The mum of 7 dressed in a mint green housecoat, with feathers on the sleeve by the designer Camilla with Love. She clearly exuded calmness, loyalty, and a tea-dance coolness, exactly the kind of presence one imagines Fury needed on his team, says Judy. Her closed-lipped smile hinted at someone who had understood, but perhaps merely endured the lack of contact. However, the pressure seemed more apparent, as she was seen standing and waiting for the scores and verdict after the 12-round battle. Posing alone, her head was raised as she appeared to gaze up at her husband with an expression of loyalty, but without any indication of expecting to be invited into the ring. Judy continues, her body suggested some agitation, as she waited to hear if her husband had won, but her stance implied she was enduring the tension alone. Paris, her separation from her husband as a tactic seemed utterly in vain, as Usyk was announced the winner. To add insult to injury, Usyk spent most of his speech praising his wife and attributing his win to her support and that of their children. He mentioned his son winning a judo belt the day before and saying, "You next, Papa," and he dedicated his victory to his mama in a display of family unity, while Fury left the ring without even waiting to be interviewed. But she was soon reunited with Tyson after she met him backstage, showing strength. Judy says, Paris's body language after her husband lost the fight defined loyalty and support. Walking beside her husband, she kept her torso close to his, but her head tilted at an angle and her eyes looking down to reflect the fact that he had lost. Tyson himself looked in a state of some bewilderment, walking backstage with his arms hanging at his sides, but his hands held out in a gesture of confusion, as he asked the press if they agreed that he had won more rounds. A frustrated Tyson let off steam backstage, telling former coach Ben Davison he believed he won 3 rounds. Meanwhile, Fury's promoter, Frank Warren, was left stunned by the scorecards, calling them too wide in Usyk's favor. A frustrated Tyson let off steam backstage, telling former coach Ben Davison he believed he won 3 rounds. Meanwhile, Fury's promoter, Frank Warren, was left stunned by the scorecards, calling them too wide in Usyk's favor.